For millions of years, this bird has stood almost unchanged in Africa's wetlands. The pair appears almost ceremonial, but
the sound can crack through the swamp like a gunshot, a warning before the story slows down. A pressured decision appears without movement. The adults do not need to attack, they only need to favor one mouth.
A parent can watch, a chick can weaken, and nothing has gone wrong.
Here, stillness is not peace, it is how survival begins. The wetland gives nothing freely.
At dawn, survival begins with stillness. One bird holds the waterline, while another shapes.
Together, they begin to narrow the world, leaving open water for a more hidden corridor.
The pair does not touch. Their first bond is made through restraint, spacing, and shared attention.
A territory is not chosen because it is safe. It is chosen because it is barely workable.
The consequence of their choice is immediate. The open swamp disappears behind walls of papyrus.
After the shock, the swamp returns to stillness, and the rules become harder to see. A second presence enters the territory. The tension loosens slightly. Distance becomes part of the ritual, not rejection. Their bond is thing.
Here, peace is only the surface. Beneath it, water level, heat, and isolation will decide everything.
The work begins carefully. Every reed is a small defense against water that never stays still.
The first tactic is simple. Build higher, pack tighter, and make the platform resist the swamp. Even
The nest must float, but it cannot drift. Every reed is a fight against water. But first, tendons. At the center of the platform, the first egg changes the rhythm completely. Now the pair becomes precise, patient.
The first tactic is rotation. One lifts, the other replaces it without haste. When the sun takes the advantage, the parent answers with water. The act looks gentle enough to be mistaken for affection.
The work does not end. Water climbs, heat presses down, and the platform keeps changing. The platform has become stronger, but not safe. Every added reed only buys the egg more time.
The work changes shape. Building gives way to rotation, and rotation becomes survival control.
Heat becomes the next predator. The shell must be cooled before care turns into damage.
The gesture looks almost gentle. Then the nest changes. One egg becomes two, and the promise appears to double. But in
Days pass in guarded repetition. Shade, warmth, water, and stillness hold the nest together. Their care. The first shell opens, and the balance of the nest changes before the second life has even begun. The second chick arrives into a space that has already been claimed. The difference is small to the eye, but enormous. The interaction changes when food becomes the next demand. A parent leaves the confined arena and enters the harder economy of
The first feeding is not equal. Height becomes access, and access becomes growth.
The emotional weight comes from stillness. The adults see both chicks, and nothing in their posture changes.
The first chick has already learned where power is, directly beneath the parent.
The nest has two mouths now, but the adult can only return with so much. The consequence of hatching is hunger.
For a moment, the smaller chick finds a gap. It is not enough to change the order. The knot loosens only visually, positions.
The stronger chick now owns the line between parent and food. No attack is needed yet. The architecture of the nest is bitten.
The nest now demands more than attention. It demands food the channel may not give. Each purse. Small prey changes the rules. When the portion is limited, position becomes survival. The stronger chick does not merge. The obstacle is no longer distance alone. A living body now fills the path. Speed becomes control.
The feeding ends before every mouth is answered. One missed meal is not dramatic by it. Growth widens every early advantage. Size begins to decide who can be seen. The nest is base. Another hunt begins because care alone cannot create enough food. Effort is visible in every step. Scarcity often looks like patience stretched past usefulness. The strike fails. The hunt records its failure before the parent even reaches the platform. Inside the nest, glitches. The channel explains the pressure, but the nest is where pressure becomes behavior. Space itself can be owned before violence is uttered. The meal is small, and the decision forms around the chick already in position. Unequal feeding. Competition has changed shape. The stronger chick no longer waits for advantage, it enforces it. The most disturbing movement in the nest is the movement that never comes. The adult does not police fairness differently.
The second warning is clearer than the first. This is no longer accidental contact, it is domination made visible. The violence has a rule beneath it. Food is limited, and the weaker chick is becoming expendable. Rain closes the space. The spare chick is not driven out, it is left where survival is hardest.
Even the platform begins to choose sides. The weaker chick attempts a new position.
The reserve can no longer compete on height, speed, or strength. The failure is quiet, and that quiet becomes the dread.
The adult is close enough to see everything, and still nothing changes.
The spare chick has drifted outside the useful center of care. The geography of the nest now. From above, the hierarchy is no longer behavior, it is structure. The second chick was insurance. The threshold is crossed when all food begins moving to one body. Equal investment now risks the chick. When a backup is no longer needed, the system stops paying for it. The knot begins. What remains is not a body, but a space the nest no longer needs to protect. After the loss, the swamp does not pause, it redirects energy. The survivor is no longer competing, it is receiving. Growth makes the choice visible. One chick has become the whole investment. The world widens because the survivor is finally stripped. The first obstacle is simple ground that will not stay firm. No parent carries this lesson. The young bird. The first lesson in hunting is not violence, it is the refusal to move. Hunting begins with silence. The juvenile watches the posture before it can understand the strike. Then patience turns. The advantage shifts from feeding to imitation. What worked once becomes a pattern to copy. Imitation is not mastery. The first strike has the right shape, but not the timing. The channel answers with mud instead of pins. The second attempt begins with more control. The body waits longer before committing. It is closer, but precision arrives a fraction. The objective shifts again. The survivor must not only catch food, it must become mobile. That's it. The nest has served its purpose. Now the survivor must move beyond it. The full investment of the parents now. Practice becomes purpose as the marsh ahead grows wider and less forgiving. The body that survived the nest is being shaped for.
Selection has produced a candidate, not a guarantee. The parents recede from the story.
The survivor tries the adult method, move slowly, then let the water speak first. The pace. Independence narrows to a single line of moving water. The difference between failure and survival can be one bill length. The juvenile does not retreat, it resets the geometry of the hunt. Energy is no longer wasted on nervous motion.
The bird changes the angle, not the purpose. This time, the water opens and gives back a meal. The brutal investment has produced a feeder.
Inches. A catch is only proof if the young bird can finish it alone. Survival only matters when it can. The same body built by unequal feeding must now meet the air. Feeding success becomes preparation. The survivor has fed. Now it must turn a body built by selection into movement through air.
Flight.
The run gathers every earlier success into one narrow moment. One chick survived because the system was built to choose one.
From above, the story becomes one pattern across water, reeds, hunger, and survival.